Welcome to your September 6th second stimulus check update and stimulus news update. Today I'm going to answer your question. When will I receive my second stimulus check? Over the past couple weeks, that seems to be one of the most common questions I get here on this channel, over on Facebook, and over on Instagram as well. So I want to answer that question. I'm going to do that very quickly. Now, I am also in this video going to talk about a $500 stimulus check for people on Social Security. I'm also going to talk about $2,000 in hazard pay that could be coming to you very soon. I'm also going to talk about a nationwide double rental assistance program. You probably have seen this, but you don't realize it's actually there and it could help you out. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the increased SNAP benefit. So that's everything that I'm going to talk about in today's video. So if you have any questions on any of this regarding stimulus, please go ahead and ask your questions down in the comment section below. If you don't have any questions, then just do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. It just shows that you appreciate all the time and effort I put into these videos, and let's begin. So to answer your question very bluntly, when will I receive my second stimulus check? Well, you will receive your second stimulus check roughly 7 days after President Trump signs the stimulus bill. Well, you're probably thinking, okay, well, when will that be? Well, President Trump will sign the stimulus bill roughly 1 to 2 days after the House and Senate vote and pass this stimulus bill. Now you're probably wondering, well, when is the House and when is the Senate going to vote on this next stimulus bill? Well, that's the tough question. This has been one of the biggest issues for months. You got Democrats on one hand that want $900 billion to state and local governments, and then you got Republicans on the other hand that do not want to spend more than $1.3 trillion on the next stimulus package. With stimulus checks alone going to cost the US government roughly $250 billion, there's not a lot of room for stimulus checks, unemployment extension, funding for the post office, rental assistance, PPP funding, and state and local government funding at $900 billion. If the overall stimulus package is only going to be $1.3 trillion. This is also one of the reasons why the other day on Friday, when President Trump revealed that the US government has over $300 billion sitting in an account that they do not need. It's not needed and it could be used for other things. That was huge news. And my guess is that the Senate, the Democrats, the House, right? Both pieces of government are going to look at this and be like, we could potentially use that money, hopefully for a second stimulus check. Now, some experts are less optimistic that a stimulus package gets passed. However, more experts are very optimistic that one gets passed because without it, the economy will be hurt and will be crumbling for years to come. So it is very much needed in addition to that second stimulus check. It is because of this thinking that experts believe there is a 100% chance a stimulus package eventually gets passed. Now you're probably thinking, okay, 100%, awesome. When is my check coming? Well, here's what you need to understand regarding that 100% figure. That 100% figure that a stimulus package eventually gets passed is partly due to the fact that if it doesn't get passed before the 2020 election, chances are this stimulus package will continue to move on and it will eventually get passed in January of 2021. This is also the reason why there's a 75% chance of a second stimulus check as of right now. It's about a 50-50 chance we see a second stimulus check before the November 3rd election. However, it jumps up to 75%. It's a little bit higher than 75%, but we'll just use round numbers, be very conservative. 75% that a second stimulus check gets passed eventually. If it's not in sometime September or October, chances are it will not happen until sometime in January. So I don't want to get your hopes up and saying it's going to happen in the next couple of weeks or couple months, but that's what a lot of people believe it should happen. And based on what President Trump said, we could potentially see President Trump use his powers to pass a second stimulus check and get those checks out to the American people prior to the November 3rd election. And my guess is he would try to push this towards the middle of October so that the checks would be in your bank account before November. This also means it would give Democrats less time to fight this. My guess is President Trump is looking at this as an option because this would be very good for his re-election campaign. Democrats would absolutely hate this because it would show that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, they did very little to help the American people. However, the guy in office right now, President Trump, President Donald Trump, if he went and did an executive order and everything was good, he didn't break any laws or anything by doing this because he's not really issuing new money. He's just repurposing it, changing where it went, and now he's pointing it directly to the American people. I think this would be really good for his re-election campaign. However, I know Democrats and specifically the Biden campaign would be fighting this, would be furious. So what I can tell you right now is that we are going to see a lot of progress. I think it's going to be very good in the next couple of weeks, specifically after the Republicans reveal their new skinny bill, which many people anticipate will be coming out this coming Tuesday. So we're only a couple days away. Hopefully, I'm hoping we will see something good from this, even though the bill will probably be just junk, be a bunch of crap, and really will not help the American people. I feel that this bill is going to really push negotiations forward. So let's see what happens. Now let's address those $500 stimulus checks to people on Social Security. Now you probably know this already, but because of the CARES Act, which passed months ago, the American people got a stimulus check. $1,200 for filers and $1,200 for their spouse and $500 for every dependent. Here's the big issue. As of right now, many people on Social Security, I know a few, I have a few family members on Social Security that do take care of one of their kids' kids, a grandkid. And because of that, they are the primary caregiver for their grandkid. So because of that, they do claim that person on their taxes, if they do taxes. I have one family member that did taxes and one that did not. She didn't need to file. And because of this, she missed out on that $500 because she didn't claim her grandkid on her taxes because she didn't need to do them. So the IRS has stated that there is a deadline of September 30th. So any person on Social Security that is the primary caregiver for a child under the age of 16 years old is able to apply to get that $500 stimulus check, and that will come out sometime in the middle of October. Now, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. However, because of many people asking me about this directly on Facebook, I wanted to answer this for you. So if you are on Social Security and you didn't get a $500 stimulus check and you are the primary caregiver for one of your relatives that's under the age of 16, then now's the time. Go to the irs.gov website, click on the non-filer tool and go and fill it out. And right now, they are estimating that stimulus checks will be issued sometime in the middle of October. Now, let's address a $2,000 hazard pay. In Coweta County, Georgia, there's a new hazard pay that was recently approved. This hazard pay will be for frontline workers, including first responders, paramedics, sworn deputies, firefighters, and EMTs. This hazard pay will pay each person $5 per hour worked from March 23rd to May 31st. Now, as of reading this, based on everything I've read today, it does not state if there's a max benefit that you can get. It's just $5 for every hour worked. Now, other county employees will receive $2 per hour worked. And I say per hour worked simply because some people did go on and take, a paid vacation, they got some time off, and so they used up some of their hours. They will not receive any additional pay, any hazard pay for hours that they used based on their time that they had stored up. They had to be physically working. Now, in Vermont, the Senate passed a $19 million fund expansion on Friday, which would provide hazard pay to even more frontline workers. Vermont passed a bill in June that would pay hazard pay to their essential workers, but at that time, they were unsure if it was legal. However, now that Louisiana and Pennsylvania have done something very similar, now Vermont knows it is fine. They can move forward with this bill. Now, one of the questions I get from a lot of people once they go through one of my videos and see hazard pay, they're thinking, why do I tell people this when it's just for a specific group of people or a specific city or county or state? The reason I say this is because even though this may not affect you today, this will ultimately affect you. If you are a frontline worker, paramedic, firefighter, EMT, 911 operator, deputy, sheriff, police officer, just be prepared that at some point your city, county, or state will eventually come up with some type of plan to pay hazard pay to their frontline workers. So just keep that in mind. It may not happen yet, but eventually it probably will. Now, let's address this nationwide rental assistance program. Well, it's actually not one single program. Every city, many counties, and many states have some type of rental assistance program. It may not be the biggest, may not be the most, greatly funded program. However, it's something, whether it's, $500,000, $1 million, or $100 million like my state, that just depends. But there are multiple programs out there for you. Here's what you need to understand. Right now, and again, I'm answering this because from questions I received yesterday and the day before, okay, mainly yesterday, I got a lot of people saying they didn't get funding, they didn't get the rental assistance that they applied for because that fund ran out of money. Well, here's what you need to understand. In many cities, counties, and states, those funds actually overlap. For example, here in Washington State, we currently have a $100 million rental assistance fund through the state. However, in King County, we have a $41 million rental assistance fund. So in Seattle, Washington, okay, there's no rental assistance that I can find or current rental assistance. However, King County, where Seattle resides, which is also in Washington State, they both have rental assistance programs. So that's a total of $141 million for people in King County, Washington. Now, again, I want to bring this to your attention because many people believe they can only apply for one program, for one rental assistance fund. That's not the truth. And in some cases, you can actually apply for the county's rental assistance fund, and you can actually apply for the state's rental assistance fund or the city's rental assistance fund, and you can get both, so they will overlap. Maybe only one fund will cover up to 3 months max. All right, we've been in this pandemic for longer than 3 months. So if you got 3 months on one, 3 months on another, you have a total of 6 months of rental assistance. That's incredible, right? Now, let me give you another example because you're probably thinking, oh, that's just Washington State, that's just King County, Seattle, Washington. They have a lot of money. Obviously, they're going to help out their renters, their residents, right? Well, let's look at this. Another example. In Texas, Houston, Texas to be exact, the Houston area, they have a $20 million rental assistance fund. In Harris County, which is the county that Houston resides in, they have a $40 million rental assistance fund. So total, $60 million in rental assistance just for people in the Houston area. Now, I want to be 100% clear. In most cases, you cannot get your city's rental assistance and the county's rental assistance, because on one of them they will probably say you have not received any assistance, any federal assistance. That is federal assistance. Now, if you go with a more private company who's issuing grants or issuing money that way, and it's not federal assistance, then you're good to go, and you can go and get multiple different funding packages. So you can go and get rental assistance from your city, maybe your county, and even your state. You never know. So go ahead and try it. And again, if they ask, did you get any other federal rental assistance or any federal assistance? If at that time you did not get anything, mark no. Check the no box, because as of right now, if you haven't been approved for rental assistance, then you need to go and apply for as much as you possibly can. Only if you truly need rental assistance. If you don't need rental assistance, don't clog up their application process. Don't try to take money from the people that truly need it. Let the people that truly need it get it the most. And lastly, I want to talk about some increased SNAP benefits. This particularly affects the people in Louisiana. Last week, the state of Louisiana received a waiver to allow SNAP beneficiaries to purchase hot foods. This allows SNAP recipients to purchase hot or already prepared items from grocery stores and retail stores. This is very good. This waiver only applies to the state of Louisiana, and the reason for this is because of the recent hurricane. This is something that they usually do. Normally it's disaster SNAP. However, in this case, they are just going to allow purchases of hot foods or already prepared foods. This is great. Okay, this is really good for families or individuals that had to move away, okay, relocate because of the hurricane, and now do not have access or easy access to a kitchen to prepare any decent meals. So if you reside in the state of Louisiana and you get SNAP benefits, then just know, I believe it's as of today, you can start using your SNAP benefits to go and buy hot foods or already prepared meals. So there you guys go. That is today's second stimulus check update and stimulus news update. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever regarding stimulus checks, stimulus news, stimulus payments, or the upcoming stimulus negotiations, please go ahead, ask your questions down in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to help you out. And again, thanks for watching today's second stimulus check update. Do me a favor, like always, go ahead, smash that thumbs up button only if you learned something and you were entertained. Make sure you subscribe if you want to stay updated on everything stimulus related and how to make money online, and I will see you guys on the next one.